What's up guys, my name is Austin Black and I want to talk about the new Mavic Air drone. This thing is pretty cool. So obviously my last drone was the DJI Mavic and I loved that drone. It was my first ever drone. It was great for vlogging. Ultimately though, there were a lot of times I was left really disappointed with the image that came from the drone. So this drone was a really interesting new thing for me because it actually shoots 4K at 100 megabits per second instead of 60 megabits per second. So things like trees or moving fast or just a lot of data on the screen would look better in theory. The sensor size was the same, they both have a 3-axis gimbal, so I was really intrigued to use this drone even though it may not be as good as a drone. It doesn't fly as far and it doesn't fly for as long and it uses a different type of connection. I actually took it around Fort Worth for a shoot and I kind of was able to test a lot of things because it was really my first time flying it. Okay, so in this bag I have the new Mavic Air and I'm gonna fly it a few times and we're gonna kind of see what I think of it. Do I think it's worth the upgrade from my last drone, the Mavic Pro? So we're in the 7th Street area in Fort Worth. It's a pretty crowded area and what I'm trying to accomplish here is doing like a time lapse over these buildings. So we're gonna see how steady this drone's gonna be, how the image looks, how it flies, and let's see. It'll be a good test. Okay, here it is. Super small, super discreet. Fits right in this little pouch. So one of the big differences between this and the Mavic Pro is the Wi-Fi versus Mavic Pro's OcuSync. So we're not going to get as much range and we might not get as much responsiveness, so we'll see how we feel about that. Another cool feature is these thumbsticks that'll screw right in. Makes the controller a lot easier to travel with, which is really nice. Got a GPS signal, yes, no, maybe so. Oh, is the controller? The controller's not working. The controller's not working. Something weird about the controller right now.
Takeoff. Has been updated. Please check it on the map.
So I'm putting it in tripod mode right now. I want to position it where I want it. Oh, this shot's gonna be awesome. You know what? It's going back and forth. I don't think this shot is going to work out, actually. One other difference between this and the Mavic Pro is the fixed focus, which is actually something that I like. I think a lot of people see that as a downside. I see it as something really positive, actually. So we're gonna take it off of tripod mode now. We're gonna pull it up a little bit. We're gonna get some cool shots. That's a nice shot right there, though. Okay, so that flight, you know, I blame a lot of that issue taking it off on myself for not knowing how to do the RC connection. But I think overall that it wasn't quite as stable as the Mavic Pro would have been. I don't know whether or not the time lapse is going to work out, but I think overall we got some really good shots and I'm excited to see how those images stack up against the Mavic. So my feelings on that first flight are pretty mixed. It was a little bit of a hassle to get it up in the air and it just didn't feel extremely stable. The signal seemed to be, I didn't have any issues, but I was getting warnings. I was getting warnings about the wind. So ultimately, like, let's see the footage before I really judge it, but my feelings are kind of mixed right now. So okay, we are in downtown Fort Worth. I can't see a thing with the sun, but we're gonna fly the Mavic that way over the courthouse and kind of just see how it might do in a little bit lower light of a situation and how it will do with more interference. Okay, so right behind this camera there is a courthouse, and I've thought for like a while now that it would be really cool to fly the drone kind of down the bridge and like over the courthouse to kind of reveal the city. So I'm gonna try that, and then I'm also gonna just try and get some really good shots of the city itself. Ooh, this is gonna be cool. Okay, here we go. One thing about flying this drone is I just feel like a little bit nervous all the time flying it. Okay, so I didn't really get quite the shot I was hoping for, but I still think it was a pretty cool shot. It's right now over the courthouse. Okay, and we're about 400 feet in the air, so we're like right at the limit, the FAA limit right now. So, so far it's been good. I always feel weird about this drone. I like it, don't get me wrong. Like, I love the drone and I'm happy that I got it, but there's something about it that's just been making me a little bit more nervous than the Mavic. I don't know what it is. So I think that flight was really more of the same. It was kind of a mixed feeling I had. The drone was making me really nervous. The gimbal kept kind of jittering. I kept getting those notifications that said things like the obstacle avoidance was turned off. So it makes me a little bit nervous. Like, really looking at the footage is going to be really telling. I ultimately didn't have any issues, but it just wasn't quite as smooth of an experience as the Mavic was. Ultimately, I've flown the drone about 5 times. I've flown it in a lot of different conditions, and I think it's fair to say that I can give a pretty honest and detailed opinion about it. And what I would have to say is it's kind of exactly how I thought it would be. The camera looks really good. It looks better than the Mavic. Not by a whole lot, but it definitely looks better than the Mavic. The main downside with this drone is going to be those little things like the range, using a Wi-Fi signal instead of OcuSync, the shorter flight time. Those are going to be the real downsides of this drone. The portability is super great, and DJI is great for including a carrying case. It's actually a lot more portable. What I do is I have the case with this drone and I just have it clipped to my bag, and that works out really, really well for me. But it makes me nervous when I'm flying it out like I would with my Mavic. So today I actually flew it out in the fog, and I was really excited to get that footage, and there were a lot of times I flat out lost signal. And this is a place where I've flown my Mavic at least 2 or 3 times, and it's gone really well with the Mavic. Ultimately, I'm really happy with the images, but I think that there are maybe some things that I would have gotten with the Mavic that I didn't get with the Mavic Air. Ultimately though, that's a trade-off I'm willing to make, because it's a little bit better for professional stuff. You don't have to fly it super far away from you for a super long time if you're doing stuff professionally. And I think it can be better for vlogging with it being a little bit smaller, a little bit more inconspicuous. I actually really like it, even with its drawbacks. The design of the drone itself is really sleek and beautiful. It's really nice how the landing gear just flips out. It's just a really aesthetically pleasing drone. I love the way it looks. It looks like the next generation product. Now the real question now is, what is DJI going to do next? Because it looks like a new Mavic or a new Phantom drone is on the way, and that's something that'll be really interesting to hear about, because those will undoubtedly have features like 4K 60 and things of that ilk. So anyways, that's it. My name is Austin Black. Thank you so much for watching. I think this drone is really cool. It's not for everybody, but I think for a lot of people who see it the way I do, I think it'll be worth it for them. Anyways, thanks for watching.